Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving straight into a totally fascinating and honestly highly structured cosmology. We're unpacking a text by an author named Su Feng called The New Epoch is Coming. Now, whether you're a seasoned reader of esoteric texts or not, this movement is something else. It offers this incredibly intricate framework of prophecy, cosmic geography, and a very specific path to human ascension. It's a dense narrative for sure, but we're going to break the whole shebang down and make it super accessible.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of the claim, right? Especially because it's placed squarely in our recent past. Check out the phrasing here. Humanity has entered a new epoch on January 1, 2018. So this isn't some vague prediction about a far-off, distant future. According to the source material, this massive civilization-altering shift has already happened. The text posits that we are literally living in the early days of a completely transformed era right now, whether we actually realize it or not.
Okay, let's dive into this. To help us navigate these esoteric claims, here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, dawn of the new epoch. 2, origins and cosmic messengers. 3, the utopian promise. And 4, tribulation and ascension. Let's get started. Section 1, dawn of the new epoch, cosmic origins. To really understand this movement, we first have to figure out where the text claims it actually comes from. Well, according to the source material, the philosophy isn't just an earthly invention. The text says the thoughts of this new epoch originate at, quote, the 0 point of the 20 parallel worlds. So right out of the gate, we're introduced to this incredibly complex, multidimensional cosmic geography. The author is claiming this philosophy filters down from a highly specific, mathematically precise point out there in a vast multiverse. But how does that cosmic idea get here? The text maps out a very specific earthly progression, brilliantly illustrating how this philosophy supposedly made its way into our world. It claims the movement was actually born in Africa back in 2001, then it developed further in Asia, and now it's maturing in North America. It's like watching a wave move across the continents over 17 years, all leading directly up to that official global turning point we just mentioned, January 1, 2018. Moving right along to Section 2, Origins and Cosmic Messengers, Spiritual Authorities. Let's look at these specific supernatural figures and the lore that the text establishes to rule this new era. So, the author introduces this central spiritual authority using a very specific term, the deiform Buddha. Now, this figure isn't just your run-of-the-mill prophet. They're the direct messenger of the greatest creator of the universe. And even more than that, the deiform Buddha is described as the ultimate synthesis of divine figures. We're talking an incarnation of God's Buddhas, celestial beings, and saints, all rolled into one single entity. It's basically an attempt to bridge the gap and unify all global spiritual traditions into one ultimate cosmic messenger. But the lore gets even more specific here, and honestly, this is a fascinating detail. The text connects this deiformed Buddha directly to some modern fringe pop culture lore. It claims this messenger is the exact supervisor soul from northwest China that was allegedly predicted by Boriska Kiprianovich. You know, the kid famously known in internet culture as the Russian boy from Mars. By anchoring its core spiritual leader to this pre-existing modern mythos, the text makes a really unique attempt to validate its cosmic authority. Which brings us to Section 3, the utopian promise, a new world. Let's shift our focus to the specific promises the source material makes about what this new epoch will actually look and feel like for its followers. As you can see, the text relies heavily on a classic problem and solution narrative, establishing a really stark contrast. The old era that we're supposedly leaving behind is described incredibly bleakly. It calls it an abyss of misery, where humanity is fettered by traditional worldviews, and our hearts are surrounded by mist. Yikes. But conversely, the solution, the new epoch, promises absolute euphoria. It's described as literally entering the gate of heaven, defined entirely by happiness, joy, and freedom. It's framing itself as the ultimate escape from the miseries of the human condition. So what does that actually look like in practice? Let's walk through these specific societal changes the author envisions. It's a deeply utopian vision of flawless order and safety. All religions and beliefs unified into one system. Everyone's talents perfectly utilized, with humanity operating as one big global family. But it also trickles down to everyday safety. The text literally promises a world where you can drop something on the street and no one will pocket it, and you'll never, ever have to bolt your doors at night. And furthermore, this perfectly safe, unified era, it's not just a temporary fix. The text emphasizes that entering this track of happiness is going to launch humanity on a new journey, lasting for millennium, a solid 1,000 years. Actually, scratch that, the source goes on to claim this could even stretch to 35,000 years, or, get this, billions of years. We're talking about securing a promise of absolute long-term security for the human race. Okay, on to our final section. Section 4, Tribulation and Ascension, the final test. Because before we get to that 1,000-year utopia, the text introduces a severe condition and a specific call to action. So the crucial point here is that the utopian promise comes with a massive caveat. Look at this quote. Humans will experience a short period of suffering for about 10 years, which has already begun. Wow, that completely changes the narrative tension, doesn't it? It tells the reader that they are currently living inside a 10-year window of necessary suffering and tribulation. Talk about creating an immediate sense of urgency.
To survive this ongoing 10-year tribulation, the text mandates a very exact structured procedure for ascension. And step 1 is pretty fascinating. Continuously watch the New Epoch videos. It's really interesting how this cosmic prophecy directly integrates modern digital media consumption right into the spiritual practice. By following these specific videos, the text claims your vibration frequency will align with the universe, your consciousness level will hit a quantifiable metric, specifically rising above 500, and ultimately you will physically and spiritually transform into an angel, a celestial, or a Buddha.
And finally, the text leaves its readers with this dire warning. If you miss this opportunity, if you fail to tune into the channel and align your frequency during this current 10-year window of suffering, you don't just miss out on the utopia, you'll be left in a state of endless crises. It's the ultimate spiritual ultimatum, wrapping up this intricate cosmology with a demand for immediate compliance. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. We've explored parallel worlds, cosmic messengers, and digital paths to becoming angels, all packaged in a promise of an eternally safe world. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to reflect analytically on the core of this text. In a world fraught with uncertainty, anxiety, and mist, what is it that universally drives the human search for these sweeping, structurally precise promises of a guaranteed pain-free future? It's a profound question about human nature, and one that texts like the New Epoch answer in truly fascinating ways. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.